Okay, so I'm showing you guys where the instructions are for how to submit multiple documents to a single Canvas assignment, right here. Submitting multiple files to one assignment in Canvas. And as I said, this is in Module 1 in the introduction to the course. All right, so scenario 1, you're submitting multiple files to a single assignment, right? You click Add Another File. This is what it looks like when you go to submit your assignment, right? If you're submitting one, you just click on this and you're done, right? But if you need to submit more files to a single assignment, once you submit the one, you click on Add Another File. And then this will open up again and you'll be able to choose another document from your device to upload to the assignment. Okay, so that's scenario 1. Does that make sense to everybody? It's real simple, right? Just click Add Another File. Any questions about that?
So for our annotations that we did from the following articles, or sorry, the essay, do we have to input this with it, or can you re-see it by itself, or I don't know how it goes?
Yeah, I'll talk about that in a minute, but I'm glad you asked, because that's one of the additional files you'll need to submit to the Essay 1 assignment. And I'll go back and talk about that in a second. Okay, but this is how you add multiple files to a single assignment. And then that's if you're just doing it, all of them at once. But if you forgot to add those files and you already submitted your final draft and you remember, oh shoot, I need to give more files to this assignment, then you use the resubmit button, this button right here. All right, so when you've already submitted something to an assignment, but you want to submit something else to the assignment, you click resubmit. And then it gives you this again. When you click resubmit, you'll see this. And then you can do this, add multiple files to a single assignment. Okay, and if you forget what I just talked about, it's all right here. Let me move my chat. Okay, in Module 1. There's Module 1, using Canvas and Zoom in this course. All right. It's right there. Okay. Module 1. Alrighty, I'm going to close that up now. Okay, so back to the Essay 1 final draft. All right, now what Nicole was just asking about is this requirement right here. Remember at the beginning of this project, when we started talking about Essay 1 and you started reading and annotating your articles, I said you don't need to worry about submitting your annotations now, but you'll need to submit them later when the final draft is due. Okay, so that's what this is asking for. This is asking you to submit the 5 articles that I assigned to you so that I can see your annotations. Okay, now there's a number of ways you can do that. You can, if you took annotations on a separate piece of paper, you can and you hand wrote them, you can take a picture of those notes and submit those notes as your annotations. If you marked them up by hand on paper, if you downloaded them, printed them, and then wrote on them, you can take pictures of your annotations on the articles and upload those. And that's going to be lots of individual pictures, but that's fine. That's fine. I'll go through them. If you have a scanner, you can scan them and upload that. The scanner is basically a picture of a document. There are some apps available for your mobile device, for your phone, that essentially scan a document when you take a picture of it. Okay, and then you can put it together in a single PDF and upload that. If you have the capacity to do that, you can do it that way. If you marked them up digitally, if you downloaded them as PDFs and then used the PDF commenting tools to mark them up, or if you copied and pasted them into a Word document, or they're Word documents, right? If you marked them up in Word, which you can do, then you upload the digital file, all right? But however you do it, you need to submit your annotated articles. And that's just the 5 that I assigned. You don't have to submit the 6th one that you found on your own to fulfill this requirement, the 1 additional source requirement. Is everybody clear on that? Let's see. Jose, I'll answer that question later about your pro-con checklist, okay? Any questions about submitting the annotated articles? All right. So that's when the add another file button in Canvas is going to become handy to you. If you have to submit these things, and then you will have to submit the articles to this assignment. All righty. And you guys already did this, most of you, in Canvas. So I can see that. I can go and check, okay, your feedback that you got and the feedback that you gave to others in Canvas. All right, any questions about the final draft? There's the essay assignment right there if you want to check it again.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So for the peer review, you're able to see that, or were we supposed to attach that? I'm a little bit confused on.
Yeah, that's understandable. I can see it. I can see the peer review.
Oh.
Okay?
Okay.
Yeah, so you don't need to worry about submitting anything for peer review if you did it in Canvas.
Okay.
Right?
Thank you.
Good. Good questions. Let's see. Someone says, I only had one person review my essay. Okay, so if the people who were assigned to give you feedback on your essays didn't do it, that's not on you. That's on them. Okay? You will not be penalized in any way for other people not doing their job in this class. Ever. Okay? Even in group assignments, people get individually graded for those. There's not a group grade. I don't think that's a good idea, so I don't do it. All right? Okay, good. And Ileana says, I didn't get anyone's essay to review. Okay, Ileana, will you remind me of that in email and I'll look into that? Okay, because you should have received a peer review. And if you want, we can look at it together if you hang on, because I'm going to end this class early, as I was telling Nicole earlier. So if people have questions for me, you know, the best way for me to answer those questions is face-to-face, as we sort of are right now. So I can show you things versus trying to do it in email, which is sometimes difficult to explain some things in email. Okay, so if you have questions about any part of this process, hang on when I tell everybody else the class is over, and we can talk about those. All righty? Okay, any other questions about Essay 1? Okay, Pablo, hang on, and I'll talk to you about that after I excuse everybody else, okay?
For the final draft that's due tomorrow, it has to be like 4 citations?
Okay, so what I was just saying about the source requirement is that you have to cite a minimum of 4 of the assigned sources. Okay, that's not about how many citations you put in your essay. That's about how many sources you cite. Okay, so I gave you guys 5 articles. I assigned them to you. Of those 5, you need to mention at least 4 of them, at least once in your essay. Does that make sense, Itzel?
Yes.
Okay, and then in addition,
we could also repeat them, right? Not repeat them, but like, let's say if I find 2 floats, I could use them, right?
That's right. You can mention flood twice, or 3 times, or 4 times. There's no requirement for how many times you mention the articles. You just need to mention at least 4 of them at least once. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, sure. All righty. All right. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and move on then. All right. And I'm going to move on to talking about Essay 2. Let me stop sharing. I want to make this as gentle a transition as possible. Okay. I can't see your faces, but I can only assume that you're feeling stressed out by me mentioning Essay 2, and that would be understandable if you felt stressed out by me mentioning, oh my God, really? We have to talk about another essay? Right? Yeah, we do. We have to talk about the next essay because I'm not going to see you again until next week, right? So I have to talk about it today. And I'm just going to introduce it to you. All right? just going to introduce it to you. You don't have to do anything for it until after you're done with essay 1. But you will have some assignments between now and when I see you again that relate to essay 2, which I'll talk about later. Okay? So I want to start by just introducing the general topic for essay 2. Okay? And that general topic is gender construction and performance. That's what the essay is called. Okay? It's going to be an analysis of gender construction and performance. All right? So clearly, right off the bat, we need to talk about what that means. All right? So what does it mean? What's gender, you guys? What does gender mean?
About like what sex you are or identify as?
Okay. Okay, good. I like the way you presented that, Nicole, because that's exactly the issue in our culture with gender, is what's the difference between sex and gender, right? And Nicole says, or what you identify it as. And that's really the difference, right, between sex and gender? Who can explain that in a little bit more detail?
I think gender is what you were born as, and sex is what you identify as.
Okay, that's an important distinction. It's just the exact opposite, Trini. It's the exact opposite of what you stated. It's backwards. It's the other way around. Does that make sense?
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes more sense.
Yeah, and I bet you knew that. You just said it backwards, right? So sex is your body. Sex is, oh, am I yelling? God, sorry. Sex is your body. Sex is the body parts you have. That's biology, what you were born as Trini put it. Okay, and gender is what you identify as. Okay, and these are two different things, right? But most people, I think, if maybe you guys will disagree or maybe you'll agree with me, but I'm going to go ahead and put it out there that for most people, those two things are conflated in their minds. Those two things are the same in their minds. Not maybe in their conscious minds, but in their subconscious. I think most people think of sex and gender as the same. Would you agree?
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. Okay, so that if you have a female body and female body parts, then your identity has to match that. Okay, or it should match that. Right? Or we assume that, you know, a female human is going to have a female gender. We're going to present herself, and she'll use those pronouns, she, her, right, as female. Right? And a male person with male body parts is going to present himself as male. Okay? And now we're getting to the performance part. Gender construction and performance is how do we know what gender a person is? By looking at them, right? Presumably. Okay, but let's go back to the construction part. So when I say gender construction, what am I talking about?
Maybe what leads up to being your gender, or I don't know.
Yes. So construction means what? What does the word construction mean literally? To construct something means to
Build.
To build it, right? Edgar said build, and Nicole said build. That's right. To put it together, right? So if we talk about gender as a construction, does that seem weird to you guys? Or does that make sense? Something that people put together, something they build. And if it makes sense to you, then why? How is gender constructed?
Is it by society?
Yeah, right? We construct gender, right? So we have a thing called gender norms. And what does the word norm mean, you guys?
Like a common thing happening.
Yeah, whatever is normal.
population?
Yeah. So whatever seems normal to us, that is a norm. A norm is the noun, and normal is the adjective that describes something. So things are normal if they're things that we're used to, right? Usual, typical, Maria says. Yes, good. The things that we're used to, those are norms. And we have norms in our society for gender, okay? Ways of being a female that we're mostly used to, ways of being a male that we're mostly used to, right? And then in our culture, we teach each other those things, right? We teach each other gender, and then we reinforce those lessons. Because if people step outside of their gender norm roles, then other people in the culture say, hey, no, 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 that's not how we do it here. That's not normal. You can't do that, right? And you can look at society and see, look back at history of our culture and see how these rules for gender, how these norms have shifted over time, right? You can look back just a little bit ago, right, at our culture and see that there were very rigid rules for the kinds of things that you could do if you were a female human versus the kinds of things you could do if you were a male human. And many of those things are still in place. But the point is that they shift, they change. And that's how you know they're constructed. That's how you know they're not natural, that they're not just the way they are. They're not just absolute. There's nothing about our bodies that determine our gender necessarily, right? Our understanding of gender comes from nature, it comes from the things our bodies do, but it doesn't, those things don't limit us. The things our body can or can't do don't limit us in terms of, you know, the kind of job we can have in most cases, right? So what are some traditional gender norms for females, you guys? Traditional. Do you know what I mean by that?
The way they dress?
Okay, clothing. Okay, is a...
How they...
Having long hair.
Sorry, Maria, go ahead, Maria.
Long hair, short hair.
Okay, all right.
What hair?
Okay, right. And who has long hair and who has short hair in our culture?
Women have long hair. Men have short hair.
Yeah. Men aren't supposed to have long hair. Thank you. Edgar says dudes have short. Dudes are supposed to have short hair. Is that because their hair isn't capable of growing long, that only females have the natural ability to grow long hair? No, that's absurd, right? Men can grow their hair long. They naturally, they are able to do that, but it's not normal, all right? So that's how you know it's a social construct and not nature. And Tyler said housewife only. Okay, so that is a traditional role for women, right? Is that they are in the home, okay? And in many, that's kind of going away in American culture, right? But not entirely, right, you guys? There are still expectations that we have for women that they be the primary caregiver and domestic in the house, that they take care of the house and the children. Is that fair? Is that a fair generalization? Tyler says, hopefully it does. Maria says, no, that's not a fair generalization.
It's not fair. For example, I feel like Jose has to do what I did too, you know?
Okay.
Like taking care of the baby and all that.
Yeah, it should be 50-50, Angel says. Oh, what a progressive man you are, Angel. Okay, right. And so you can see that we're going away from that tradition of expecting females to perform that role. And then men get to do what?
They get to work and provide for their family.
Right, that's the tradition, right? Is that the proper role for men is to provide and protect, right? And the proper role for women is to nurture and serve, Eatcell doesn't like that. And I agree. Oh, Jose says, uh-oh, we're getting personal here. Jose says he feels like he does 80 and she does 20. Okay. Well, that sounds like that's a dynamic you guys have to work out. All right. But traditionally, that's not the case, right? Traditionally, women are the caretakers in the family and men are the providers and the protectors. Okay. But like I said, our society, and I can see in the comments here, okay, that you guys agree that our society is moving away from that. Okay. But can you still see aspects of these gender norms in our society, you guys?
Yeah, such as like women weightlifting, and then they think that it's very like masculine and like that women shouldn't be able to like lift heavy stuff compared to men, that it's okay for them to do that. Yeah,
and women shouldn't look like that, right? That's not normal for a woman to look like that. Still, people are still uncomfortable, right? And that's how you can identify your own internalized sense of what's normal. If something makes you uncomfortable, right? You're not used to it. And really, that's just human nature, you guys, right? We're all hardwired to be wary of things that we don't recognize or understand. That's back here in our brain, the primal part, okay? I can't remember what it's called. One of my other students reminded me and I've already forgotten because some kinds of information I'm not good at retaining. Does anybody know what the back part of the brain is called? The primal part, in the back at the base of your skull? It's got your primal instincts in it, where you don't think about it, you just do it. Okay? Okay, well, at any rate, we're all hardwired to react to things that aren't normal in our environment that way, with suspicion. It's fight or flight. Okay? That's the impulse that we all have. And it's a survival mechanism. So we can stay safe and protect ourselves from threats. Because that which is strange, that which we don't recognize, might be dangerous. Okay? But the thing about being human beings, I hope, evolved human beings, is that we can arrest that. We don't have to just go with it. All right? We can think about it. We can, suspend that feeling of discomfort and think about it. And then we can realize that maybe it's not a threat after all and it's okay. But when we see a woman who's a bodybuilder, we go like, oh God, that's not normal. That must be a problem, right? Because we're not used to it. Does that make sense? And then you'll notice, because of the way our culture changes, guys, women didn't used to be able to wear pants. Do you know that? It used to be totally unacceptable for women to wear pants. They used to have to wear a dress all the time. If they wore a pants, it was a problem, okay? And we don't have that anymore. That went away. We got used to it. We got used to women wearing pants. But there were some brave women that had to be on the front line saying, you know what, screw this, I'm wearing pants. They're more comfortable.
Also, like their skirt length, depending on how long stuff is, like you can even see some people, like it's a certain kind of culture, like the religion, that some girls only wear long skirts and they don't wear pants at all.
Right. And then skirts slowly got shorter and shorter to the point where they're almost not even skirts anymore. And people's backsides are hanging out of their skirts. Right? I'm not quite comfortable with that, but my daughter thinks it's fine, so we have arguments about it all the time. Okay? Anyway, let's see what's going on in the chat here. All right. Edgar says, bring food to the table. Get out of here. All right. And Jose says, she works so I can study. Okay, so that's the trade-off. That's good. That's fair. Okay. And Tyler says, yeah, as a guy, I will say it can make me a little uncomfortable if a woman is stronger than me. Yeah. Right? Because you're told, society tells you that you're supposed to be the stronger one. They might beat you up if you get their order wrong. Gosh, I hope not. All right. Okay, but so we understand the idea of gender norms, right? And how they're constructed, socially constructed. And how do we know that? Because we can just see how they've changed. And that's what tells us that we made them up in the first place. And they can change, and some should. Some should change. Okay, that would be my argument if I were writing this essay. Alrighty, so we talked about gender construction. Now let's talk about performance.
I got a question about this.
Go ahead.
So what about, like, me and itself, can we write about us, or does that have to be something different?
Yes. So as with essay 1, where I asked you, I'm hearing my voice feedback to me and I don't like that. Let me adjust my headphones here. As I said with essay 1, okay, as I asked you to do with essay 1, I asked you to reflect on your own experiences, right? And those are totally relevant to your analysis of gender construction and performance, is your own experiences and observations, as well as, and there will be some assignments that ask you to reflect on those, as well as the ideas in the articles that you read. You're going to put all of that stuff together for essay 2. Okay?
So we can just mix it up?
Yeah, mix it up. Okay. But back to my question. Sure, no problem. Back to my question about performance. So we talked about some of the ways in which gender is performed through the roles that we take on in the home, right? That's one way to perform gender, right? To present ourselves in a particular way to others so that they know that we're female or male, and there's only 2, right? Nothing in between, right? There's just male and female. We'll come back to that. But what are some other ways that gender is performed? Other ways that people can present themselves in a way where other people can identify them as being male or female? Jose is demonstrating a contravention of gender norms, right? By nurturing that child. He's doing a good job. Look, the baby's asleep. Excellent job. Oh, there is a female presenting person that could be doing that instead of you, but you're doing it. Good job. She's doing her schoolwork instead. That's fine. Okay, so what are some other ways that people present themselves as either male or female? When we look at them, we know.
Maybe about what pronouns they like to be called.
Okay, the pronouns that they use or ask others to use when referring to them. What else?
How they dress.
Yeah, how they look, literally how they look. What do they have on? What have they done with their hair, long or short, right? What else? Their behavior. Okay, so what are some examples of that, Edgar? Of masculine versus feminine behavior. And we're talking about norms, right? We're talking about cultural norms. What's normal, what we're used to. The dude has to be protective, okay? And he has to project that, right? He has to project strength and dominance, right, you guys? Isn't that a requirement of masculinity in our society? That guys are strong? Tyler, isn't that a requirement of masculinity in our society? That the guy has to be the strong, dominant one?
Well, I guess strong and like even mentally too.
Okay.
That,
so
like, shouldn't cry.
Right, emotions. That's a super important, okay, requirement of both masculine and feminine behavior, is that on the one hand, men are not allowed to express certain kinds of emotions outwardly, right? And you'll come across some viewpoints that say that that's not a good idea, that it leads to problems, right? Tyler said, good point, Nicole. okay? That boys shouldn't cry, right? We're going to talk about that later, right? But is it okay for females to cry?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Tyler says guys aren't allowed to have feelings at all. But what kind of feelings is it okay for males to express in our culture, you guys?
I feel that because they can't show like their emotions, they show anger.
That's it. Anger is an emotion, isn't it, you guys?
I think
Anger.
more aggression.
Yeah, aggression. And Jose said, right, anger, right? Ashley said pride. Okay, a certain kind of pride, right? Tyler says very true. Okay, so anger, dominance, aggression, these are acceptable masculine emotions, right? But fear is not an acceptable masculine emotion. If you're afraid, you better hide it, right? You better act like you're not, okay? All right, so we've touched on some of the ways, anger and frustration, because they can't show anything other than their very basic emotions, right? And we're gonna talk about this in more detail later, okay, when we get into some of the readings and the videos that you're gonna watch on this topic. All right, but clothing is a really important part of gender performance, right? And how does this relate to SA1, to consumerism, you guys? How does it? Gender construction and performance is related to consumerism. Okay, so this is kind of a bridge between SA1 and SA2, where we can carry over some of the ideas that we were talking about and thinking about and writing about for SA1 into our thinking about SA2 and gender construction and performance. Okay.
So like such as positions.
Say that again, Nicole.
Like such as like positions, you know how like supposedly if there's a woman, they don't get as good a job as a man, even though we have the same degree and the same, like in a better school or whatnot.
Okay, so discrimination is an aspect of this in the workplace. And that's something we'll talk about later too, okay? And that's something you can choose to focus on for your SA2 if you want, okay? But what are some other connections between consumerism and gender construction and performance, specifically performance? The way people look at you and know that you're male or female. What kind of stuff do you need to have for people to know you're female?
Maybe like purses, like more feminine kind of gear.
Yeah, Maria also said handbags. Edgar said heels, Maria said heels, a purse, Edgar said. Yeah, those are, my husband has a man purse that I got for him because he had so much stuff that he was trying to keep in his back pocket that he was hurting his back. So I had to get him a masculine purse so he could feel comfortable carrying it. And he slings it over his shoulder and it's kind of a satchel thing, right? Angel says a satchel. Yeah, that's what my husband has.
Or you can always go old school and get a fanny pack.
Yeah, you can go back to the 80s with the fanny pack.
They're back in again.
Are they? Oh no.
But now
really?
they do it across the chest.
Right, that's what my husband has.
Like
yeah, it's more.
Or just like a satchel.
Yeah, that's what my husband has. Okay. Pants for women hardly have pockets. That's right. Okay. That's right. You can't, because why, Ashley? Why do women's pants hardly have pockets? Or you have to wear them so tight that you can't get anything in the pocket. Why is that? Have you ever wondered why that is?
So tiny.
How come?
Maybe
body shapes.
Think that we have to carry anything, that we need a purse to carry our items.
Right, we carry our items in a purse. And Ashley says body shapes, right? Why is it important for women to have tight pants? And how is that related to bodies?
To show our shape, I guess?
That's right. Right? That's what's important about a female. One of the important things about a female in our society is generally how she looks and more specifically, how her body looks, right? And that's becoming more important for men too now, these days. That's one of the things that's changing about our culture. There's no need to apologize for your honesty, okay? Big butts, yes, right? Because why? To attract a man, right? And what's the most important thing, or should be, for a woman in our culture is to attract a man, right? We'll come back to that. Okay, but what's some other stuff you need if you're gonna present yourself, if you're going to perform femininity in our culture? What goes with that? Just connecting back to consumerism.
Can you repeat the question?
Sure. What are some other things you have to have, some other products that you need to have if you're gonna properly perform femininity in our culture? Perfume, hygiene, and someone said perfume earlier. Okay, thank you, Jose. What kind of hygiene? Yeah, girls can't walk shirtless like men, but almost. Almost. Be clean, smell clean, brushed hair, makeup, Ashley says. That's right. Okay, makeup is gendered female in our society, isn't it? Is it that way everywhere? If a dude is wearing makeup in American culture, is that okay, you guys?
I mean, it's just not in the social norm, but it doesn't mean that a man can't wear makeup. Like,
doesn't it?
Japanese, like the Korean culture, a lot of the K-pops, you know, a lot of them do wear makeup, and or like a lip tint, and it's not frowned upon about men wearing makeup compared to the United States.
That's right. It's not frowned upon there. But would it be frowned upon here?
Yes.
What would happen, okay, if one of those K-pop guys, and I know what you're talking about because my daughter is a K-pop fan too, all right? And she doesn't have any problem with those boys wearing makeup. Excuse me, young men. She doesn't have any problem with them wearing makeup. She thinks it's great, okay? But what if one of those guys was walking down Main Street in Salinas? How would that go?
They would say stuff. I didn't
stuff. You don't want to say it, but we all know, right? We all know how those people would be treated if they just showed up on Main Street in Salinas, right? Because it's not okay for heterosexual men, and everybody's still expected pretty much to be heterosexual. Homophobic slurs, Maria says, that's right. They would be harassed. They definitely would.
There's actually a lot of men that are still like cross-dressers, but they're still straight men.
Yeah.
Have that, you know, they like how it looks and makes them like empowered and feel good.
Yeah. And I like how you said, believe it or not, right? Because what that shows is this is something that we're still not used to, okay? We're getting a little more used to it, but we're still not used to that. It still seems strange to us. Okay, assumptions about sexuality would be made. That is a very polite way to put that, Yulisa. And you're very right. Okay, but in Korea, those young men can look the way they look, and no assumptions about their sexuality are made. Okay, it's okay. All right, for a heterosexual male to present himself that way, but not here. Okay, makeup is for girls here, right? Okay, and it costs money, doesn't it? You have to buy that stuff. Jose, or somebody, one of my students said in a previous context that his girlfriend has a ton of makeup she never wears, right? But she likes to have it, that she never uses. She likes to have it, it's pretty, right? It makes her feel girly. And that's cultural. That's construction. That's construction and performance. How does a woman perform femininity? She wears makeup, she wears heels, she carries a purse, right? How do men perform masculinity, you guys?
Like maybe just regular tennis shoes, boots, like a pair of jeans.
Loose jeans, yeah. Facial hair, Maria says, right? And the thing is, these things cost money, you guys. And the people who want to sell you their stuff know, right, what the culture is, what the cultural values and norms are. And they use those to put together their marketing messages to sell you the stuff you need to have to go with the gender you want to perform. All right? So that's the link between consumerism and gender. And that's what the documentary you guys are going to watch is about. It's about that link, okay, between American consumer culture and how that culture participates in constructing gender norms and keeping them going in a way, but also amplifying and exaggerating them in another way. Because remember what Derek Ashani said, right? And what we said about Derek Ashani's argument is if everybody's happy with what they have and how they look, then they'll stop buying stuff. So people need to be made to feel unhappy with what they have and how they look in order for consumerism to work. All right, does that make sense, you guys? Okay, you guys are saying some more things in the chat. We can be shirtless with tattoos. Is that consumerism? Well, the tattoos are, right, in a way. Right, there are females now who are tattooed. That used to be a man thing, to be tattooed or to have a tattoo. Now women are getting tattoos, but probably the tattoos that men get are different from those that women get. The women's tattoos are probably generally prettier, okay, more gentle. Maybe they're flowers, right? Okay. All right, but does that make sense so far? Okay, I'm going to shift away from these general concepts and our discussion of them to talking about the first assignment that you have to do for essay 2. All right, so let me share my screen with you. Okay, and this is the first assignment that you have to do for essay 2. It's to watch a documentary called The Merchants of Cool. Let me open this. All right, there's the assignment, okay? And the first step in this assignment is to download this document. This document has a list of questions for analysis about this documentary on it, which you want to have next to you while you're watching the documentary. The documentary is about, it's about 55 minutes long, about 50 minutes long, okay? Excluding the intro and the outro to it, okay? And there it is. You can just play it right from here. You can make it bigger. Some things you need to know about this documentary are that it's old. It was made and released in 2001, okay? Which is right now is really, really old. It's almost 20 years old. So the specific examples in it are going to be horribly, laughably outdated, okay? They're going to make you laugh, all right? But the main points that this documentary makes in support of its argument are still relevant, okay? And that's what I want you to pay most attention to. And take notes while you're watching it. This is the first course text for essay 2, all right? And we're going to talk about it in class next week, all righty? So you're going to download this, answer the questions, and submit them to this assignment after watching this documentary. A little bit more introduction about it. As I said, it's old. The specific examples in it are old. Do you guys know who Britney Spears is? Anybody? Let me stop sharing my screen with you so I can see you again. Britney Spears, do you guys know who she is? Yeah, Ashley's thumbs up. Okay, so Britney Spears, right, was 17 in like 2001. Okay, and she was, you know, a very popular recording artist at that time. And we still know who she is because she still pops up in the news from time to time because of mental health issues she's having. I don't know if she's still doing music. I don't know, okay? But, you know, she's a specific example that the documentary gives of a certain kind of femininity, a certain brand of femininity that they call the midriff. And this is a social and commercial construction, meaning that Britney Spears packaged herself in a particular way to sell herself to a particular target audience, right? And then all the stuff that goes with that look, that she had, and that way of being, and that those kinds of behaviors that she had, right, were commercial products that were sold to the target audience, as well as the music that she was making. Okay, the way she looked and the way she behaved was on purpose to sell her music to an audience. Okay, and then you got to have the top that Britney has and the pants that she has and all the stuff and the makeup. And I don't know if she has tattoos, but the jewelry, all of these things, all of these products. Okay, but she was also selling a particular brand of femininity to the young girls who were her fans, and they wanted to copy her and be like her. So that's a way in which consumer culture is constantly constructing and reconstructing an ideal of femininity for us, for all of us. Okay, and that's one of the main points this documentary makes. Alrighty, so let me ask you though, when you're watching this documentary, you're going to need to do translations because, like I said, it's really old. So who's the now Britney Spears? Who performs that function in our culture that Britney Spears did when she was popular in 2001? Who can you point to now that's popular, that's doing kind of what Britney Spears did back then?
Are you talking about like a female artist or just?
Yeah.
I mean, everyone has their own preference, but I would say Rihanna because she she made music, but now she does makeup and different kind of lingerie, clothing line. Like she's really expanded her everything. Okay,
good. That's a good specific example, right? So Rihanna presented herself in a particular way, right? That was a kind of feminine performance. That was similar to the way in which Britney Spears presented herself when she was younger. And still does, actually. I've actually, now that I'm thinking about it, seen some pictures of Britney Spears where she's still trying to act like she's 17. I feel a kind of way about that. I don't know how you guys feel, but we don't have to talk about that now. Who else? What are some other examples of currently popular female artists who serve the same function in our culture that she did then? Yulisa, go ahead.
I think the Kardashians, they're not artists, but they're really popular.
Yes. Thank you so much for saying that. Thank you for saying they're not artists. Oh, there goes my neck. The Kardashians are one of my least favorite people. Okay, I don't care for them very much at all. Okay, and we can agree to disagree. You don't have to get mad at me because I don't like the Kardashians. But I have my reasons, which I'll share with you later. Okay, but yeah, so they are presenting themselves, especially Kim, but all of them, even the younger ones now, are presenting themselves in a way that's very similar to the way Britney Spears did. Okay, where what's most important about them is how they look. And, you know, Kim Kardashian doesn't do anything. She doesn't sing, she doesn't dance, you know, she doesn't have any sort of creative talents. It's just about how she looks. All right, and if you want to argue with me about that, like I said, we can have that argument later. Bring it. All right, who else? Nicki Minaj, that's a good one, Ashley. Yes, Jose, you're right, because men made her famous. She's famous for how she looks and how she uses her body, okay, and how she presents her body. That's what she's selling. She's selling her body parts. Okay, Nicki Minaj, Iggy Azalea, thank you. Yeah, they're trying to do Britney, right? So you can do this translation in your head, okay? Because like I said, this documentary is old. It's gonna have lots of old examples in it, some of which you won't know what they are. TV shows, films, okay, musical artists, some of them you won't know. But you can just do the substitution in your head because those points are still relevant. Does that make sense, everybody? Okay, a few more, thank you, Maria. A few more, good, Tyler. So we can point to some female comic book heroes, right? Like Black Widow, who was kind of doing a version of Britney Spears, right? We can talk about the way females are presented in the Marvel Universe or DC. Wonder Woman, really? Did she have to wear that? Okay. But that's an argument we can have later. Okay, some more things you need to know about this documentary, all right? There's some gratuitous nudity in it that's badly pixelated, right? I don't even know why they bothered to pixelate it, okay? Because you can tell what they are, right? Just go like this during those parts. There's some swearing in it. There's some F-word usage in it. You can just plug your ears, right? If that kind of language offends you. There's some scatological humor in it. Okay, do you know what that means, scatological? No, what's scat, you guys?
It's poop. Scats.
Yeah, it's poop. Scat is poop. So scatological humor means funny stuff with poop, right? Or the other things that come out of your body. So there's some humor like that, right? That if you know you're sensitive to it, you can just cover your eyes. That's what I do. when I'm forced to look at things that make me cringe, I just cover my eyes and plug my ears. Okay, so there's some of that in it. Yeah, and I think that's it. Okay, the trigger warnings that have been delivered. All right. Let me see if there's anything else I want to talk to you about before I let you go. Let me share my screen with you. Okay, oh yes, I'm glad I checked. I'm glad I checked. We talked about Merchants of Cool. The last thing I want to talk to you about, and these are all assignments you need to do between now and when I see you again next week. But like I said, they're due after the 3rd. The Merchants of Cool we just talked about. This one is an article that you need to read and answer some questions about. This is an article you need to read and answer some questions about. And this is a quiz about those 2 articles. Okay, and then this is the discussion leader sign up. And this is the announcement that I hope didn't go out yet. Let me see if that went out already. I didn't want it to go out until I'd had a chance to talk to you guys about it. You saw it already?
Yeah.
Oh, bummer. Oh, well. So I think that's what you were asking about, Jose, right? Is this right here? So this is what I'm going to talk about right now. You don't have to do this now, all right? But this is for later, okay? And these are links to the sign-up sheets to be discussion leader. This is the one for this class meeting. And if you sign up to be a discussion leader and you're enrolled in 5030, then you need to attend that class. If you sign up to be a discussion leader and you're enrolled in 5029, then you need to attend that class at 1120, okay? For those meetings where we're talking about the text that you're facilitating. And these are the articles for SA2 that are assigned. These 5 articles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Okay, so you can skim these, preview them, and then decide which of these you want to lead discussion about and come up with questions for. Our last run at this, I'm sorry, someone talking?
We sign up on, like, you know how it says 5029 and 5030?
Yeah. What was your question?
Does sign up on, or do we have to sign up on a specific one?
Yeah, you sign up on the one that for the class you're enrolled in. Let me show you. There are 2 different sheets. Remember last time I screwed it up and I made only 1 sheet and then I had to do it over? This time I made 2 different sheets. Okay. There it is. So the facilitation for these first 2 is going to be on the 9th. And for these next 2, this one is a big article. So it's got its own week, the 16th. And then these 2 are one. You have to do these together. If you sign up for these 2, you're doing them both. Okay, because they're both short. All right, and this is the sheet for 5029. All right, and then this is the one for 5030. Okay. Last time there was, this process didn't go as smoothly as it should. And I chalked that up to people just not knowing how it worked. So hopefully that problem is resolved and you guys all know how it works now and you can do it. The way it's going to work is when you sign up, I'm going to make groups, okay, of people. There'll be one group for this text and I'll make a group in Canvas and then I'll create a Google Doc, which you will all contribute questions to. And then you'll all talk about the questions you all contribute. and then you'll all pick 3 to 5 that you post in the discussion forum for SA2. Okay, and all of that is explained in the assignment that you'll also be receiving once you sign up. Okay, so I hope this goes smoother this time than last time. Okay, and with that, do you guys have any questions about anything? I'm going to go ahead and let you go and take other questions after I dismiss everybody. No? Let me stop sharing my screen here so I can see you all. No questions? All right, so if you guys have questions for me outside of the stuff that we just talked about, hang out and I'll answer those questions. All right, but everybody else have a good weekend. All righty, take care, stay healthy. One of my students has a family member that got COVID, all right? Wear your mask, people. Please, wear your mask. It's not that hard. Make other people around you wear it, okay? If you work in a store, I'm sorry, but you got to tell those people to wear a mask. They're endangering your life and the life of your family. All right? Okay, I don't leave my house because of those crazy people out there that are dumb and refuse to wear a mask. All right? Okay, you can go ahead and take off after that sermon, unless you want to talk to me.
Miss Patty, so looking at the online peer review essay, and I see it now. I see that you assigned me Isaiah Barone and Nancy Salazar. So
okay, good. You saw. Okay, good, Eliana. You saw your assignments. Good. I'm glad you found those.
So
all right.
Make sure to get to it right away. All right.
All right. See you later.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Anybody else have questions for me?
Yeah, about the essay, if I could get an extension.
Yeah, so Nicole, I recall that you were having some problems with peer review. Have those been resolved?
I believe so, because I sent it to Jose, and I believe he received them because he mentioned about like the peer reviewing, about like if we can change it to that. So yeah, he just confirmed that he did get it. So
okay. And Jose, were you able to read her pages documents? That was the issue, right? Is that you had,
yeah, like
okay.
I did, but I just wasn't sure if it like he would be able to see it, like
right, or open the file. That's my problem, is I don't have a Mac, so I can't open pages documents.
okay, yeah, because
does that make sense?
I think one of, yeah.
Go ahead, Jose.
The other one, the other person's, but hers, I think I was.
Okay, you could see Nicole's feedback to you?
Yeah.
Okay, good, good. All right then. Yeah, so regarding your final draft, how much of an extension do you need? I'm not gonna close the assignment. I'm gonna leave it open. I'm not gonna lock it. So you'll be able to submit your essay whenever. I just wanna know when to expect it.
Would I be able to do it on Monday? Because I'm gonna have to go visit my grandma because she's not doing so well, and she doesn't have any internet, and we're gonna be staying there. So I'm not gonna, and I don't really like to go to places because she lives in the Central Valley, and you know how Central Valley is the highest. So I don't like to go out in the Central Valley.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so Monday would be fine.
Okay.
Okay. I'm not gonna start grading them before then, because I'm grading other essays right now.
I just wanted to like make sure, so then like when it does pop up or whatever, it's like you'll know that it's not going to be late. Like
yeah, I won't penalize you. Okay. None of the essays that are submitted late will be automatically penalized, and I'll know because you talked to me, and you can just leave a little note, a little comment in it. Say, remember you said I could turn this in on Monday. Okay, just to make sure, because sometimes, you know, I'm old, so I forget things. Okay?
All right, thank you.
All right, you're good to go. All right, anybody else still have questions for me?
Me, Pablo.
Hi,
so
Pablo.
basically, I messaged you about it. So basically, I had internet issues, like really bad internet issues. I didn't get the message, well, until the internet came back up. That's when I got the Canvas notice and all that stuff. And I did turn in my rough draft along with the thesis and the outline as a PDF file together. Basically, it's under one file. So I submitted the rough draft and those things at the same time, basically.
Okay. And you submitted them to assignment 4.5?
Yes, I
Good.
think that was the peer review, right?
Yes, the peer review.
Yeah, okay, yeah, and I need to have like peer reviews.
Okay. So right now you need me to assign you peer review, someone to review your essay.
Yes.
Okay, I will do that.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Yeah, I will do that. And that should pop up for you on Canvas. Once I make the assignment, you should be able to go into your assignments and see that you've been assigned to review these essays. Okay? And if I can't do that, at this point, I'm not sure I can because I haven't looked lately at who still needs assignments. And as you can imagine, if everybody's already gotten theirs done, then I won't have anybody to assign to you. But if that's the case, I'll write you a message about that, okay?
Okay.
And we'll come up with an alternative.
Okay, got it. And so would that also possibly mean, like, say, like, you know, that does happen? Would that possibly be meaning that if there's a possibility that I could get like an extension one day, possibly, just in case? Like, say Sunday, basically. Say Sunday.
Yeah, you can have an extension. Yeah.
Okay.
On this.
Yeah,
right? To get your final draft. Yeah.
Yeah, just one day, just Sunday.
All right. If that's all you need, that's fine. But if you need more, that's fine too.
Okay, so yeah, just one day is all I need, just in case, because as well, internet issues. That's just also in case, say, internet goes off on Saturday, and it's like, oh, and then Sunday pops up. Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I understand.
So I just thought I might let you know.
Yeah. Thank you for doing that. Good communication.
And I will also comment like you give me an extension day too.
Okay, good. Yeah, leave me a
Just
comment if you turn it in late, reminding me that I said okay.
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. See you later. Take care.
See ya. You too. Thanks.
Hi guys. Anybody else have questions for me still?
Yeah. So the 3-page essay, do we have to? That's tomorrow, right? We have to exactly make it 3 pages.
Yeah.
What are we gonna talk about?
The final draft.
We already wrote. Yeah.
The final draft of essay 1 that's due on, oh, my voice is feeding back to me. That's due on tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and what's your question?
So like what we already wrote, right? It's not exactly 3 pages. So what else do we write?
Well, I'm hoping that your classmates have given you feedback for more things to develop.
It's because like so after we read after we wrote, mine was like 1.5 pages, right? So then I read what they told me to write, or add what they told me to add, and then it's only gonna be like 2 pages.
Okay. Do you want me to give you some feedback?
Yeah.
Okay. Will you send your essay to me or share it with me as a Google Doc, and I'll give you some feedback?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Talk to you later. Anybody else? Erica, Trini, Itzel, do you have questions?
Yes. For the additional source for the essay, can it be from your own experience?
No. Although your own experience, you know, is relevant to include in your essay, the additional source needs to be another source. It needs to be an article or a video. You could interview somebody, okay? You could do a personal interview with someone you know. That could count as a source. Someone other than yourself.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, thank you.
Okay, sure. Erica, Itzel, do you have questions? No? All right then, I'm going to go ahead and end this meeting, you guys. I will talk to you later. Have a good weekend.